Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your channel of Math and Engineering Made Easy. So today we are going to finish the sessions for the AP Calculus AB because it's this coming Monday. Of course, we still have to do the multiple choice, and we have like two parts. We don't have time for all of that. So I think I'm going to do like half of each, so to speak, so we can, the time would be manageable. So maybe we'll start with the odd numbers for this part and maybe take either the odd or this even for the second part. Okay, so it says, the first one says, find the second derivative of x squared y equals 2. In fact, there are two ways to do it, either to explicitly write y in terms of x, 2 over x squared, or simply use implicit differentiation, which I will use here since it's quick. Of course, the left-hand side is a product, so you take the first, which is x squared, times the derivative of the second, plus the second, which is y, times the derivative of the first, which is 2x. And of course, the derivative of 2 is 0. So now when you subtract 2xy, you get y prime equals negative 2xy over x squared. You can simplify x with x. It's negative 2y over x. And then when you take the second derivative, the left-hand side, okay, this is x, not x to the 4. This was 2, and it looks like a 4. So you get, let's write it here so you can see what that is, negative 2y over x. Now, again, this is a quotient, so I can do it. There is a negative sign, so don't worry about that. Just leave it. You square the x, and then you multiply x by the derivative of the numerator, which is 2y prime, minus the numerator, which is 2y, times the derivative of the denominator, which is just x, just 1. Now, we found y prime, so I can go back and say negative 2x y prime, but y prime is 2y over x. So I'm going to write 2x times negative 2y over x minus 2y over x squared. Now, x and x cancel. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4y, minus 2y is negative 6y, but there is a negative outside, so this becomes positive 6y over x squared, which is a. Okay? Just implicit differentiation, very easy. The second one says, find the limit as x approaches infinity of 3x e to the negative 3x. Now, x is infinity and e to the negative infinity is 0. So when you see 0 times infinity, you move one of them to the denominator, so it becomes infinity 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. So, of course, since you have a negative sign here, it makes sense to say it's the limit as x approaches infinity. 3 is a constant, but you can write 3x over e to the 3x, right? And then you apply L'Hopital. So you write L'Hopital. That would be the limit as x approaches infinity. So L'Hopital. The numerator would be 3. When you take the derivative of 3x, you get 3. And when you get the derivative of the denominator, you get 3e to the 3x. The 3 and the 3 cancel. E to the 3x. As x approaches infinity, e to the infinity is infinity, and anything over infinity is 0. So the answer is E0. We move to number 5. Number 5, a side of a cube is measured to be 10 centimeters. Estimate the change in the surface area of the cube when the side shrinks to 9.8. Okay, so here again, S is 10 centimeters. And when it shrinks, we want the surface area. So we know the surface area of the cube is 6x s squared. So since S is the side, So each face will have an area of S squared, and there are 6 faces, so it's 6S squared. And then you see if S changes from 10 to 9.8, okay? So this change is like negative 0.2, right? So notice that when S decreases, the surface area will also decrease. So I can exclude the 24 and the 2.4 to begin with. And now you multiply, say, negative, it's decreases by 0.2. So 10 minus 9.8 is 0.2, and 0.2 square is 0.04. So when you multiply that by negative 6, you get negative this is, wait a second. That's no, the change, or D area, if we call that D area, equals 2 times 6, 12 S ds. So it's 12 times 10 times negative 0.2, right? So this would be negative 24 square centimeter. Yeah. 9604, so this is 396 times 6. You get negative 24. And then we move to number 7. That's a very easy problem. First of all, the 1/2, you can take it out, and you are integrating x cubed dx. So you get 1/2 times x to the 4 over 4 plus a constant. This is x to the 4 over 8 plus a constant, and that's number A. And this one was number E, part E. Then we move to number 9. Number 9 says, if f of x equal 2ax squared plus bx plus 6, if x is less than or equal to negative 1, and it equals 3ax squared minus 2bx squared, 3ax cubed minus 2bx squared plus 4x, if x is greater than negative 1. So what do they want? Oh, and is differentiable for all real values, then b equals what? When they tell you it's differentiable, it means, first of all, that this has to be continuous. And to be continuous, you cannot have a jump in the value. So meaning, if I calculate the value or the limit as x approaches negative 1 from the left and from the right, I should get the same thing. And because it's differentiable, also the slope from the left should equal the slope from the right. So the first pair of equations that I'm going to write and substitute x equals negative 1 is 2ax squared. If x is negative 1, then x squared is positive 1, you get 2a. And if x is negative 1, you get negative b. And you get plus 6 should equal, x cubed would be negative 1, so negative 3a. X squared is positive 1, so you get minus 2b. X is negative 1, so you get minus 4. That's the first equation. Let's move the a to the left, so I add 3a to both sides. And then I'm going to add 2b to both sides. And then I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, right? So you get 5a plus b is negative 10. Like we said, since it's differentiable, then the derivative from the left, which is 4ax plus b, should equal the derivative from the right, which is 9ax squared minus 4bx plus 4. Now I'm going to substitute to get the second equation. X is negative 1, so I get negative 4a plus b equals, if x is negative 1, then x squared is 1, you get 9a If x is -1, then -4 becomes positive 4b plus 4. Now I'm going to write this equation here. -4a minus 9 is -13a. b minus 4b is -3b. And then equals 4. Did I do that correctly? Yeah. Now I have to solve these two equations in two unknowns. But I want b, so I'm going to multiply the top by 13 and the bottom by 5 and then add them up. So when I multiply this by 13, I get 65a plus 13b equals -130. And when I multiply the bottom by 5, I get -65a minus 15b equals 20. Then I add them up. So these two cancel. I get -2b equals -110. You divide -110 by -2, you get b equals 55. And that's d. Okay, so the key word here was differentiable. So you know it's continuous and differentiable. Number 12. Find the limit as h approaches 0. That's the definition of derivative, right? Meaning I can divide top and bottom. Let's see. First of all, I have 2x squared minus 2x squared. They cancel each other. And then I divide numerator and denominator by h. Since it's not 0, it's approaching 0. So that would be 1. The numerator would be 4x plus 2h. But since h approaches 0, that would go to 0 and you get 4x, which is d. That's an easy one. Number 13. Oh, it printed on 2 pages. Sorry, guys. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's calculate that. They tell you y equals log to the base 3 of 2x cubed plus 4x squared. Notice that when you get the log, anything other than natural log, it's better to write it as the natural log of the numerator divided by the natural log of the base. And now 1 over natural log of 3 becomes a constant. So you say y prime equals 1 over natural log of 3. Okay? And all of them have natural log of 3 in the denominator. Now, the derivative of that, first of all, the derivative, you have to apply the chain rule. When you have if it's natural log of x, you say 1 over x. So natural log of a function of x is 1 over the function of x. And then you go inside the function and you see this, you want to take the derivative with respect to x. So you get 6x squared plus 8x. This is plus 8x. Yeah, that's that. No, this is 4x squared, not 3x cubed. I don't know where the x cubed came from. So it must be a. Because a has the correct numerator, but the denominator didn't print, it should be natural log of 3 times that, or that times natural log of 3. It doesn't matter. So it should be a. Let me try to see it online on my phone. If you don't mind, I'm gonna, I think they have the answers. This one, does this one has the answers? No, that's section 2. This is number 13. No, they say the answer is C. Yeah, the answer is C. I'm sorry. I didn't, they don't have the answer here, but so I thought it was. Here you can see that everything in the numerator and the denominator is divisible by 2. So you can rewrite this as 3x squared plus 4x by simplifying the top by 2. And the bottom is also can be simplified. In fact, can be simplified by 2x squared, but they factored out the 2, and that leaves, so this is 2 times that, and this is x cubed plus 2x squared, and then the 2 and the 2 cancel. So you get C, which is natural, no, it's not, oh, C, natural log of 3 times, no, they factored x also from the numerator and the denominator. I didn't look, I should look at that. So if you factor x, you get 3x plus 4. And when you factor x, you get x times x squared plus 2x. That threw me off when I didn't see the A. I thought for some reason, because the A had the log 3, had the correct value that I had, so I thought it was the answer, but anyway. Yeah, it has 6x squared plus 8x, so I thought it would be correct. But unfortunately, this is, anyway, sorry for that, guy. I didn't see this. Number 15. Number 15, just by looking, the denominator has higher power than the numerator. So if you substitute 0, you get 0 over 0, but you can divide top and bottom by x to the 4, and that would be infinity. It's none of these answers. What on earth is that? This is a wrong problem. Look at the answer. What do they have for number 15? They have C, which is 0. That's impossible. Nope. That couldn't be 0. If the denominator, okay, wait a second. Let me, in fact, oh my God, we don't have time for that. So what I'm going to do is to go here and say, for example, let's pick Wolfram alpha, and then take the limit of 2x cubed minus 3 sine of x divided by, well, x to the 4, I didn't need parentheses, but then, and x approaches 0. That should be infinity or negative infinity. It cannot be anything else. Yeah, infinity. So this problem is wrong. These people sometimes, okay. Okay. Okay, so let me go to the meeting. Why is it showing that? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, sorry guys. Okay. Oh my God. It froze again. Okay, that's even better, probably, hopefully. Okay. Maybe we can do, maybe we do 16 instead of 15, because 15 is wrong, definitely. The answer is infinity for sure. Okay. Now when you have something like that, it says integrate 18x squared secant square 3x cubed. The first thing you think of when you have two functions multiplied by each other, you either think substitution or integration by parts. Integration by parts doesn't work here because you need to know, say, the integral of secant square. I know it's 10, and you have to find the integral of 10. You can do it. It's natural log of negative natural log of cosine or secant. But it's better to think substitution, especially that the first thing you think of, you look at, the function of secant squared. It's 3x cubed, and the derivative of that is 9x squared. Outside, you have 18x squared, so you're in this. As long as you have x squared outside, and the derivative of what's inside is x squared also, then use substitution. You say let u equals 3x cubed, so du becomes 9x squared dx. I have 18x squared, so instead of 9, I have 18. So I'm going to write 2, and then the 2 times 9x squared dx is du. And 3x cubed is u. So this is secant square u du. The answer is 2, 10 u plus a constant. But u is 3x cubed, so 2, 10, 3x cubed. E, 2, 10, 3x cubed plus a constant. Becomes very easy by using substitution. We should do 17 since we were going odd. What is the equation of the line normal to this curve at x equals 1? Okay, notice that when you do, you have to find the coordinates of the point where the tangent gets to the curve. So if x is 1, you get y equals 1 plus 2 is 3, minus 5 is negative 2, plus 7 is 5. So the point is 1 and 5. Okay, and then you take the derivative. First of all, to get the derivative is the slope of the tangent, right? So you get 3x squared plus 4x minus 5. At x equals 1, so at 1, it equals 3 plus 4 minus 5 equals negative 2. That's the slope of the tangent, but you want the slope, you want the equation of the line normal to the curve, meaning perpendicular to the tangent. So its slope would be the negative 1 over that, which is 1/2. So y, or the m normal, is 1/2. And now you write the equation of that line. You say y minus 5 equals 1/2 x minus 1, right? The slope point form. I can multiply both sides by 2, or if they don't want to write it by 2, you would say equals x over 2 minus 1/2, and then you add 5 to both sides, so it would be x over 2 plus 5 is 10 halves, minus 1/2 is 9/2. No, this is 2, not negative 2. I'm sorry. So that should be negative 1/2. That should be negative 1/2. That should be negative 1/2. And that would be positive 1/2. So when you move 5, which is 10 halves, plus 1/2 is 11 halves. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I want to do it fast, so I'm messing things up. How did I say 3 plus 4 minus 5 is negative 2? I was thinking that I will divide negative 1 by the thing, so the negative was in my mind. I wrote it down. But next time, I will count on my fingers. Remind me. I can only do multiplication, but not addition. Anyway, we don't want to waste time. So if cosine square x plus sine square y equals y, then dy dx equals. Again, it's not implicit, but I have y's in multiple spaces. So I will take the derivative of cosine square x with respect to x, dx. Notice that, again, this is chain rule. So you have something square, it becomes 2 times that thing, right? And then you step inside, you see cosine, and the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So you say negative sine x. Same thing here. Plus 2 sine y. And then I step inside, I see sine y, the derivative of that is cosine y. Then I step inside, I see y, the derivative of that is y prime equals y prime. Because there. So now I say, I can bring the y prime here, so I get 2 sine y cosine y minus 1 y prime, and I move this to the other side equals 2 cosine x sine x. Notice that sine x cosine x is sine 2x. I'm sorry, 2 sine x cosine x is sine 2x. And 2 sine y cosine y is sine 2y minus 1. So I divide by that both sides. I get y prime equals, no, they didn't combine them. So I get 2 cosine x sine x. I thought they would combine them into sine 2x because it looks like you have to do it this way. And then you divide by that 2 sine y cosine y minus 1. See? Yeah, this is plus 1. This doesn't have a constant. This is the y on the numerator. So it's C, we know. Okay, let's move to 21. Find dy dx. Why do they have all of them the same thing? That doesn't make sense. Okay, dy dx, if 2y squared minus 6y. Okay, so again, the left-hand side at 1 and 1. Usually I prefer to check if this point is on the graph because sometimes they just pick any points, not because that's not the actual regular exam, that's a practice. And these people, as you saw, the infinity and the 0, I don't trust them, you know, wholeheartedly. So if it's 2 minus 6 is negative 4, 1 and 2 is 3, minus 2 is 1, minus 5 is negative 4, so that's correct. Okay, 4y prime minus 6y prime equals 4x cubed plus 6x squared minus 2. Of course, all of them are divisible by, it doesn't matter. I have 4y minus 6y prime equal this. So y prime equals 4x cubed minus 6x squared minus 2 over 4y minus 6. Everything is 1, so you get 4 minus 6 minus 2 is negative 4, and 4 minus 6 is negative 2, so you get positive 2, and there is no answer positive 2, so I must have done something wrong again. 4y prime minus 6y prime. So the denominator is 4y minus 6, meaning negative 2. So that's correct. What about the numerator? You get 4x cubed, that's 4, plus 6x squared, that's 6, so that's 10. Oh, minus 2, so that's 8. 4 plus 6, this is 8. Again, same. That's positive 8, so you get negative 4, which is the, I told you I can't add. I should slow down. I just don't want, I want to finish quickly. I'm so sorry. Okay, integral of natural log. Again, the derivative of natural log is 1 over x. So you can always say, let u equals natural log of x. So du becomes dx over x. So dx over x is du. And if natural log of x is u, so this is u cubed, so you get u to the 4 over 4 plus a constant, or natural log of x to the 4, they write it natural log to the 4 of x plus a constant over 4, right? So it's b, right? u to the 4 over 4 becomes natural log of x to the 4 over 4. Move to number 25. That's pretty straightforward. Integral of x cubed is x to the 4 over 4 evaluated from 0 to 4. And since at 4, at 0, you get 0. So all what you have to do is to say 4 to the 4 over 4 or 4 cubed or 64. And that doesn't take few seconds. Where does the curve y equals 5? That's definitely at 2. What? The cusp? Okay, y equals 5 minus x minus 2 to the 2/3. So when you take the derivative, you will get negative 2/3 x minus 2 to the negative 1/3. Or negative 2/3 1 over x minus 2 to the 1/3. So as you know, to find the cusp, you try, you see where x is when you go from the left. So you take the limit as x approaches to negative. If it's 2, so slightly less than 2, like 1.9, if you get here is 0, 1 over 0 is infinity. That's really negative infinity, but there is a negative, so you get positive infinity. So from the left-hand side, you get infinity. From the right-hand side, if this is 2.1, when you or 2.00001, when you subtract 2, you get 0.0001 to the 1/3. Again, it's roughly 0, and you divide negative 2 over 3 times 0, you get negative infinity. And because it's left positive, right negative, so that's a cusp, right? And so the x is 2. I don't know where E is. I don't see E, but it might be this one. I don't know if this one. Yeah, so if x is 2, this would be 0 and y would be 5, so 2 and 5. For some reason, the other one didn't print. And we are done with the first half, or the first part that doesn't, where you don't have a calculator. Now we move to the second one. I don't know which. So let's continue with even. So if we look at number 30, it says if the position of a particle is given by x of t equals that, where t is greater than 0. So it's moving along the x-axis. What is the distance traveled at the particle from 0 to 3? Common mistake. Students evaluate x of 3 and x of 0 and subtract. Wrong. Why wrong? Yes, this is cube and square, and it's the particle is moving left and right. So we have to know where the speed, or I'm sorry, the velocity equals 0, because if I'm moving to the right and the velocity becomes 0, it means after that I will start moving to the left. So I have to calculate the distance I travel to the right plus the distance I travel to the left, and maybe I move back to the right. So you add these, because we didn't ask you about the position, the change in position. We ask for the whole distance traveled. So what do? The first step, you always get VT, V of t, which is dx of t by dt, right? The derivative of the position is the velocity. So you get 6t squared minus 10t plus 4. You can simplify, and you equate that to 0 to see where t is. This is like 3t squared minus 5t plus 2 equals 0. So I know one of them is 3t, the other is t. And since this is 6, okay, so it has to be, and both of them are positive, right? So I get 3 and 2, meaning this is -1 and this is -2. So you say negative 3t minus 2t is negative 5t. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, and 3t times t is 3. So either t equals 2/3 or t equals 1? Oh, see? Here, between 0 and 3, it will change twice. First, I calculate x of 0, which is 6. So x of 0 equals 6. And then I get x of 2/3, because from 0 to 2/3, the particle is moving in the same direction. And then it will stop at 2/3. What is 2/3? It's 2 times 2/3 cube minus 5 times 2/3 square plus 4 times 2/3 plus 6. Again, I don't care about the 6 because that's the 6. So I won't really, of course I would add it, but I will subtract these two to find the distance traveled in one direction. Okay, this is 816 over 27. We have a calculator, so 4 times, so minus 20 over 9 plus 8/3 plus 6. So keep the 6 by itself, and let's see, over 27, I get 16 minus 60 plus 72. So 6 and 28 over, so 7 and 1 over 27, right? 72 minus 60 is 12, plus 16 is 28. 28 over 27 is 1, which I added to the 6, because I have to add 6 at the end, right? And I get 1 over, so this is 7 and 1 over 27. So the distance so far is 1 and 1 over 27. Then you get x of 1. X of 1 is so easy because you get 2. Again, I don't know how to add, remember? So I get 2 minus 5 is negative 3, plus 4 is 1, plus 6 is 7. So I go, here is 7. So I add 1 over 27 again, because it went to 7, 1 over 27, and then back to 7. So the distance here is 7. And finally, I get x of 3. 3 cubed is 27, times 2 is 54, minus 3 square, 9 times 5, 45, and 3 times 4 is 12, plus 6. This is 9, 21, 27. Wait, what? Okay, so 27. So now I have to add these. I have 1 and 2 over 27 plus 27. So it's 28 and 2 over, that doesn't make, no, this is only 20. I have to add 20, right? Because I was at 7, I ended up at 27. So I moved here 1 and 1 over 27, and then 1 over 27, and then 20, which is 540. So this is 29 over 27, and that's 540 over 27. That's the 20. 2 times 27 is 54. So this is 569 over 27. That's E. Yeah, that's a complicated one. But you have a calculator, so you can do it faster. I don't know why. I don't like to use the calculator, but unless I have to, like I have a sign of something. But so you don't do like me, just use the calculator. So why did so we said we are going to do the evens here, not the, okay, find the equation of the line tangent. We had something like that. Y equals 2x. Let me write it because it's not clear. Y equals 2x is almost the same problem as before. At x equals 8. If x equals 8, I also need to find the y, because once I find the slope of the tangent, I want to write the equation. So I'm going to use the slope point formula to find y. If x is 8, then this is 16. 8 to the negative 2/3. 8 to the 1/3 is 2, right? And 2 to the negative 2 is 1/4. So minus 3/4 plus 5. So this is 21, 20 and a quarter. Again, you can use your calculator and say, that's what I prefer to do then, just because I don't want to do another error and then confuse you more than 8 to the negative 2/3 plus 5 equals 20 1/4. Yeah, so at least this time it's correct. Now I take the derivative, so I say y prime, which is the slope of the tangent line is 2. And then I have negative 2/3 times negative 3 is plus 2 over x to the 5/2. It's x to the 5/3. X to the negative 2/3 minus 1, but minus 1 is minus 3/3. So negative 2/3 and minus 3/3 is negative 5/3. So I brought it in the denominator to be positive plus 5 plus 0. I'm taking the derivative. So this is 2 plus, if this is 8, the cube root of 8 is 2, and 2 to the fifth is 32. 2 over 32 is 1 over 16. So 2 and 1/16, or 33/16. So that's the slope. I would say y minus 20 1/4, which is 81 over 4, equals 33 over 16 times x minus 8. Y minus this y equals the slope times x minus dx. Okay, so the slope is 33/16. So anything that this doesn't have 33/16, this doesn't have, so it's either A or E. So all what I have to do is to add 81 over 4 to both sides. Again, you can use a calculator, but when you multiply negative 8, notice this is over 4, so I can simplify by 2. This would be 4. I'm sorry, by 4. So this would be 2, and this would be 4, and this would be negative 66 over 4 plus 81 over 4 equals 15 over 4. So it's 8, 15 over 4. Okay, I have negative 81 over 4. When I move it to the other side, it becomes positive 81 over 4. And then I have negative 8 times 33/16. But since this is over a 4, I'm not going to simplify by 8. It's enough to simplify by 4 to make that 4. 33 times negative 2 is negative 66 over 4. You can use your calculator and say 81 minus 66, you get 15. So it's 15 over 4 or 8. Number 34. A 50-foot ladder is leaning against a wall. Just want to draw it. This is 50 feet. Oh my God. Is leaning against the building and being pulled to the ground. So the top sliding down the building. If the rate of the bottom of the ladder is being pulled across the ground is 12 feet per second. What is the rate? The top is going down when the top is 30 feet from the ground. So when this is 30. We want the rate at which it's going down. Okay, so if this is 30 and that's 50, you think Pythagoras, 3, 4, 5, right? So this is 40. That shouldn't take you any time to get it. 3, 4, 5, 30, 40, 50. Okay, and then how would you do it? I know that x squared plus y squared equals 50 squared, right? And x and y are changing, but the 50 doesn't. So let's take the derivative. So if I take the derivative of each, so like this is would be 2x dx, and this is 2y dy equals 0. Right? I'm taking the derivative of x with respect to x or dx and the dy. So I take a differential of that. Of course, the 2 and the 2 cancel, and I get x dx equals negative y dy. X is 40. Dx is 12 equals negative. Y is 30 dy. 0 and 0. 12 over 3 is 4. Negative and negative. So I get dy equals 16 feet per second going down, which is E. Okay. Oh my God, they're taking 47 minutes. Still have a lot. Oh, there is 31. Where is 32? Am I missing a page? Or did I drop one? Oh my God, for some reason one of the pages didn't print out, or what is that? 29, 30, 31, and then I jumped to 37. Yeah, I have 35. Oh, 36 didn't print out. The actual problem didn't print out. Maybe I will read it from the phone. Oh my God, I should have looked at that. I was just want to get done with it quickly. Number 36, where is 36? It says, where is that? Oh, okay. 36, 36. Here is 36. It's, oh my God. The tangent, again, they want the tangent to the curve x. Oh yeah, that's at least, that's parametric. So we didn't do one. 3t cubed minus 5t plus 2. And y is 7t squared minus 16. They want you to find the tangent to the curve at t equals 1. Okay, so I know that dy dx in parametric form is dy dt divided by dx dt, right? You know that. So let's get dy dt. We said 7x squared or 7x cubed. Where is it? 7t squared. Okay, so that becomes 14t only because the derivative of negative 16 with respect to t is 0. Dx dt equals 9t squared minus 5. So dy dt over dx dt at t equals 1 equals 14. What? They should say find the equation. They didn't say that. They say the tangent to a curve described by this is what? Oh, so they want the equation of that line. And this is 9 minus 5 is 4. So this is 7/2. So the slope is 7/2. At t equals 1, x equals 0, 3 minus 5 plus 2, and y equals negative 9, right? Because 7 times 1 squared is 7 minus 16 is negative 9. So now I say y minus negative 9 or y plus 9 equals a slope of 7/2 times x minus 0, which is x. So they have everything on the left. So I would multiply right and left by 2. So I get 2y plus 18 equals 7x. And then I'm going to move the 7x here by subtracting 7x from both sides. And then I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. Get 2y, so negative 7x plus 2y equals negative 18, which is a. So I thought they wanted just the slope, but they still want the equation like the previous problem, but this time is parametric. Guys, sorry for the mess, but I really wanted, I'm a little worried that I wouldn't be able to finish in approximately good time. Approximate the area under the curve, x squared plus 2 from x equals 1 to x equals 2 using, so I have a parabola, second degree parabola from 1 to 2. So this is 1 and 3 and 2 and 6. And I want to find this area using 4 midpoint rectangles. So again, to have 4 rectangles, I have to make 1 rectangle, 2 rectangles, 3 rectangles approximately. So if this is x equals 1 and this is 2, that would be 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. And usually when you have a rectangle, you are going to assume that the height is the height of the midpoint, right? Which is 1.125, 1.375, 1.625, and 1.875. You can average those with the calculator. So let's see what this area is. The first rectangle, all of them have a base of 0.25. So there is no way to multiply 0.25 by 0.25 by point. So you can simply say 0.25 and then you open a parentheses. You substitute this x. So you have x squared plus 2. I'm going to say, and then I'm going to plus 2 here, plus 2 here, plus 2 here, plus 2 here. So it's 8 plus. Again, to save time, instead of saying 1.125 squared plus 2 plus 1.375 squared plus 2, you're going to add the 2 4 times. So you say plus, 1.125 squared plus 1.375 squared to save time. So 1.625 squared plus 1.875 squared, close parentheses. And of course, you could have said, oh, it's okay, 4.328. Oh, it's E. Exactly, 4.328 to 3 decimals. Okay, so again, the base is 0.25. There is no reason every time you say 0.25 times plus 0.25 times. You can factor out the 0.25. And then the equation itself, at every x, you square the value and add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. There are 4 rectangles. So you say 0.25 times 8 plus. And you simply square these and add them up. It's faster. It's not, easier, but it's faster. Oh my God. Number 41. Do we have all the answers? I don't have A again, as usual. But nevertheless, we can do it. The side of a cube is increasing. So the side, or ds dt, if S for side, is 3 inches per second. At the instant when the side of the cube is 6 inches, so S is 6 inches, what is the rate of change in inches per second of, no, inches square per second? See, I told you they make horrible things. I mean, this will not, an error will not be accepted by a student, let alone somebody who's writing a test. Again, this is not the official test, okay? That's somebody online was preparing mock-up exams. The rate of change in inches square per second of the surface area of the cube. Again, like always, you do the related rates. You say the surface area. So I'm going to call it A. So because S is for side, the A is 6S squared. We know that. So the derivative of the area with respect to time equals, and you take the derivative. So you get 12s ds dt equals 12. And they tell you when the surface, when the side was 6. So times 6, and ds dt is 3 times 3. 18 times 12 is 216 inches square per second. Right? Yeah, how do you multiply 12 by 18 quickly? Okay, doesn't matter. I don't want to waste your time here. Usually when the difference is even between the numbers, so you see this is 12, this is 18. Take the middle number, which is 15, and square it. And you say, okay, so how do I do? Remember, I told you how to square any number that ends with 5. I told you the number that ends with 5, when you square it, it ends with 25. And then you multiply the other number by the next higher. So 1 times 2 is 2. And many of you already know that 15 squared is 225. Notice this is x squared. This is x plus 3, x minus 3, which is x squared minus 9. So I subtract 9 and I get 216. Again, don't worry, you have your calculator, so don't worry about what I'm saying. I'm crazy. Oh, that's a position. I think we did one similar to that. So let's continue with odd numbers. The radius of a sphere is increased from 9 to 9.05. Estimate the change in volume. Okay, the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So the change in volume equals 4/3 pi, and then you take the derivative of that, which is 3 r squared dr. I'm taking differentials. Okay? dr is 0.05 because it went from 9 to 9.05. R is 9, so this is 81. Pi, and this is 4. 4 times 0.05 is 0.2. 0.2 times 81 is 16.2 pi. I think it should be this, right? It's pi. 16.2 pi, 5893.8. So 5894 is D. Very simple. Go to use differentials to approximate the square root of 4.002. Same thing. It's the same thing as that. So I would say, I know that the square root of 4 is 2, okay? So how do we do that? We say x equals 2, or the square root of 4. And then this is, so if I say, or instead of y equals square root of x. So if I take the derivative or differential, dy equals 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. So over square root of x dx, right? Okay, so so x is 4. So this would be 1/2 times 2, square root of 4, times the differential, which is 0.002. And this would be 0.001 over 2, or 0.0005, 3 zeros and 5, 3 zeros and 5. So the 2, which was the square root of x, we added to it 0.005, 3 zeros. Because this is 0.002, you multiply by 1/2 over the square root of x, which is 2, right? Because this is x to the 1/2, its derivative is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. So, and then I think that's it, because they were 45. We are about an hour, a little bit over. Sorry, it took too long, but hopefully that would be helpful. I really wish you all the best in your test. Be calm, be confident. Don't spend the whole night on the eve of the test. So Sunday, take a light dinner and go to bed early, because it's better to study ahead of time. So do your studying tomorrow and maybe Sunday morning or early afternoon, so you can get a very nice sleep and you wake up fresh, eat your breakfast, go to the test, be confident, be relaxed, and I'm sure you will do great. Wish you all the best. Hope to see you maybe in a new course in the future. I love you all. Have a great time. Bye. Oops. Oh, it's not. I'm sorry.